This is the Horse Radio Network. This is episode 281 of Horse Tip Daily, a different horse tip, a different equine topic, a different equestrian expert every day. Horse Tip Daily brings the world of equine knowledge to you one day at a time. Today's tip is sponsored by EcoGold. You can visit them at ecogold.ca. Enjoy today's tip. This is Glenn the Geek from Lexington, Kentucky, and you're listening to Horse Tip Daily. Well, today we have back with us Betty Fay. She was our first of our listener tips experts that we got on. She wrote to us a while back and had a tip for us, so we put her to work. And now she's doing regular tips for us all the time. Betty has ridden, taught, and trained in all three disciplines, but she is a dressage person at heart. And she says her students, 2- and 4-footed, taught her more than she has taught them. She comes back to us now on a regular basis and helps us out with some various tips on training and things. And she has done a number of things in the equestrian world. She's raised foals, operated a boarding training stable, worked for a large animal vet, owned a tack shop, managed shows, riding day camps and a handicap program, and has written for equine publications that are 40-plus years with horses. And we're going to return here shortly with Betty right after we hear about the good folks at EcoGold. They're found at ecogold.ca. You know, regular listeners to Horse Tip Daily know that we love the products at EcoGold. Well, there's others that love the products at EcoGold, too, that are a little better riders than I am. And one of those is Kyle Carter, the international eventer and well-known in the eventing community and just a fun, lovely guy, a good family man, too. And here's what Kyle has to say.
Well, I came across the saddle pad the first time when I was over at Burley, and one of the Canadian riders was riding in the saddle pad, and I got to try it in a schooling session. I loved it, and I actually stole the saddle pad from her and used it on cross country at Burley. It is bar none the best saddle pad out there. We get given saddle pads all the time because people want you to ride with their logo on your horse, and I've reduced every saddle pad in my string to EcoGold for the major competition.
Thank you, Kyle. You can find those saddle pads at ecogold.ca. That's ecogold.ca. Well, hi, Betty, and welcome back to Horse Tip Daily.
Hi, Glenn. How you doing?
Good. It's good to have you back, and I just got done with my ride for the day, and I know you're getting ready to head out for yours.
I am. It's a beautiful day.
Yeah, it's beautiful here, too, so it's always nice to get out and ride early in the morning. I rode about 6:30 in the morning, and there was nobody out at the barn, and it was peaceful and quiet, and the hawks were flying over. It was just one of those days. And the barn where I board my horse here in Lexington is beautiful. It's in the middle of all of those fancy thoroughbred farms. So all around where you ride, it's all those fancy thoroughbred farms. So
it sounds gorgeous.
Yeah, well, not quite as pretty as the mountains where you are there in Denver or in Colorado.
Well, it is beautiful here, but it's not as green as the Midwest.
That's true. It's very green here. It's rained every day all summer. So I know I've had to mow like twice a week. All right. So what are we going to help people with today?
Well, I have a tip about riding alone. It's a safety issue.
Okay.
When you're riding off the farm, so you're leaving the barn and you're going trail riding, even if it's not off the farm, if you have a lot of trails on your property, you need to leave a note in the barn, what direction you're heading and approximately when you think you're going to be back. You know, if it's 5 hours after dusk and you're not back yet, they're not going to be able to find you in the dark. They need to know, your backup people, your family, your emergency people need to know where to start to look for you.
Well, and it's true, especially if you are boarding at a barn where they don't know really when you're coming or going, and they it gets to evening time and they're going, was she supposed to be back yet?
Right.
We've had that when we had our stables. Even when people were trailering off, it's always a good idea to let the barn manager know, a remote time of when you're going to be getting back.
Right. And sure, we get sidetracked or we ride for a little longer, but ballpark idea really helps narrow the search.
And, you're in an area, here it's not so much of a problem in Lexington, Kentucky, but you're in an area where your cell phone doesn't work when you're out riding most of the time.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. There's no cell phone. You get behind a rock and you got a dead zone.
Yeah, and pretty much that's the whole trail you're riding on. So
Yep. That's true. It's the Rocky Mountains.
that's right. Well, that's a terrific suggestion. You know, I'm surprised in almost 300 tips that nobody's ever done that one. But it is a terrific idea. And so leave that note. It's the same thing. If you want to think about it, it's the same thing a pilot has to do when they're heading out on their plane to fly. They have to leave their
That's
flight
right.
plan. You're leaving your flight plan there at the barn.
Yeah.
That's a great idea, and especially with you guys, we have limited trails here. But unless you're doing some serious trail riding in the canyons and stuff, you guys, you head out on any trail ride, you could go a multitude of directions.
You sure can. You sure can. And it can still happen even on a small acreage. You got trees, you're down, you're unconscious, you're not going to be able to answer people calling. They have to know approximately where you're at.
And most
Anywhere.
of the time in that situation, what happens is the horse actually goes home without you, and they see the horse arrive, and they have no idea where you are.
And it's terrifying for them. They may not be thinking straight either. They're just so scared when they see that.
Right, exactly. So, yeah, very good tip. Leave the note before you leave on your trail ride, whether you're leaving the barn, leaving the area, or whether you're just riding off the property there at the barn. Terrific idea. Thank you, Betty. We appreciate it, and we'll have you back soon.
Oh, great. Thank you, Glenn. Take
Enjoy
care.
your ride today.
Oh, I will. Thanks.
Well, thank you to Betty. That was a terrific tip, and I wanted to remind everybody also that if you have a newer cell phone, in the contacts list, you'll see something called an ICE contact, ICE, or on mine it says in case of emergency. And that's where you put in, and mine allows you to put up to 5 contact people in, that if somebody finds your phone after you've been in an accident, and they can just look at the contacts list and see you're in case of emergency contact and call that person right from your cell phone. So it works out great. It's a nice little feature that the new cell phones tend to have. So be sure to fill that out when you see you're in case of emergency in your cell phone. And you'll find all of the shows on the Horse Radio Network at horseradionetwork.com, the voice of the horse world. We'll be back again tomorrow with another new tip and another new expert. Until then, stay safe, everyone.